There are some Bondar releases from a while ago that I found.
They might be credited to
SoundCloud.
Bondar, but they might not be.
Okay, well, what's the Booty Love Some Kind of Rush?
That's definitely
Yep,
definitely a Bondar track.
definitely. And Adriano Celentano Susana.
Yes.
123,000 plays on SoundCloud?
Those are, by the way, legit plays. So
That's incredible.
this is a song that I grew up listening to with my parents.
Yeah.
It's an Italian kind of ballad.
Yes.
That I loved so much. So when tech house kind of started popping off, or this was during the time when it was Yolanda Be Cool and
Yeah, this
CUP.
was like 8 years ago or
Yeah,
something, right?
more than that. We're talking about, this is like 2010.
Okay, 10 years ago.
We Speak No Americano was kind of
Oh.
yeah. You can even hear it in that track. It
Oh,
got
you definitely
inspired by
can,
it.
bro. It's
Yeah.
it's amazing. I loved it because I love that track.
Yeah.
And when I'm like, all right, let's see what he's got on his SoundCloud, because I always do this to everybody. I'm like, what has this guy got on his
There's
SoundCloud?
a lot of hidden tracks, by the way.
There are.
Like
And I come across
397.
this track and I'm like, what the fuck? It's incredible. And that's like, I originally got into sort of that kind of energy. So I loved it. Was
Thank you.
was that one of your first releases as Bondar then?
Yes, it was, and it was like a self-release. Like, just at that time, we were just
Yeah.
uploading shit to SoundCloud.
Dude,
SoundCloud
and
was huge.
you could just blow up on SoundCloud.
You can. That though at that time, SoundCloud, you would organically just get fucking thousands of plays if shit was good.
Yep.
You didn't have to promote it. You didn't have to juice it. You didn't have to do anything. It was just organic. It would be heard. People would actively be using the platform.
Yep.
That was amazing about SoundCloud. There was no Spotify back then.
Yeah.
There was nothing else. It was really the outlet for like independent
There was
artists.
iTunes basically, right?
Yeah.
And YouTube.
Yeah, and YouTube was like still kind of.
Wasn't music focused.
No, it
really.
was not. It was not. But a lot of tracks started, being ported to YouTube at that time. So
Yep.
they would find them. A lot of people actually made a lot of money taking shit from SoundCloud,
Yep.
ripping it, including some cool, graphic, or taking a little video, EQ that was just moving up and down, branded as their own, like, I don't know, casual or majestic, and then just poured it over to YouTube.
Yes.
So
No holds barred.
yeah, and so at that time I didn't have many label releases. It was a lot of just uploading shit to SoundCloud, and
You were having fun with it.
yeah, and people were downloading and playing it in their sets.
It's incredible because they're really cool because you have this sort of amazing fusion of electro and disco, and then running through everything over the past couple years, there's a little something in some of these early tracks that you still really encapsulate today.
Definitely,
It's incredible.
thank you. Yeah, it's like a big just hodgepodge of shit, really. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like combining all the styles, combining all the little methods that I've learned over the years, and of course collaborating with other people.
Yes.
I mean, in the last couple of years, I've been doing mostly collabs
Yeah.
because as music is not my full-time gig, but
Yeah.
it's my full-time love.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
I figured out that it's really awesome and helpful to actually be more productive, to partner up with other people who can take the ideas and then run with them,
Without
or
it being a
vice versa.
duo, right?
Yeah, just like my recent collaborations with Papa Marlon, with the
yeah.
beats. Specifically, yeah, with Papa Marlon, we put out so many tracks because we met each other, like, oh shit, let's fucking work together. So we started sending stuff back and forth, and it really popped off. He is super talented, and he's better at finishing tracks than I am. So, like, a lot of times I'll send him ideas, he'll just run with it. It is a full-time gig for him, so it's so much easier, and our
Yeah.
productivity just like spiked because, music. At the end of the day, it's hard to pay bills with it. It's
Absolutely.
music's kind of like gambling.
Yeah.
The edges are very thin. You got to be really good,
Yep.
and if you're a one-man operation, it's tough. Just like with anything that you do.
Definitely.
Nowadays you're your own everything. You're your producer, mixing engineer, mastering engineer. You're your promoter. You're your social media influencer. It's you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, so true, man. And I appreciate you just kind of being humble about that, because I think it's a lot of things that artists think they can get rich getting into the music industry, and it's like, if you're in this for anything else other than the love of doing it, it's never gonna last long. And that's the tough part about this shit. We want to make money, we need to live, we want to have a livelihood,
100%.
but it's just kind of the fact of the matter.
Yeah, and I will never forget. I read this book. I forget the name of the guy who wrote it. I know he was a teacher at Columbia and a very successful engineer and producer for. I think he did mixing for Red Hot Chili Peppers and. But it's funny. He wrote a book, and the first sentence in that book is, "Welcome to the music business. You're fucked."
Yeah.
So
Fuck.
I kind of took it. I kind of took it to heart.
That's
So
I mean, Jesus, that guy needs to start a podcast.
I
Yeah.
forgot what his name is. He's a legend. I know he was a audio production teacher for a long time, but that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
It's really hard to with payola in the past, and there's a lot of artists who just don't get the light of day because the competition is really fierce, and you really have to connect with the people at the end of the day. You might love your music, your family might love your music,
Yeah.
but the fans might not.
And the landscape has changed
Right.
so much too with social media and stuff, and we're kind of in my opinion, an adapt or die phase for people in electronic music specifically, right? Like, you can't just blow up on SoundCloud and get a tour on that anymore. You gotta have content. You gotta have a YouTube. You gotta have basically layers of your brand. And there are a lot of people I've talked to that are very successful on social media and make great music. And the reason that both go so well is because they've had to put more effort into the social media, right?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating for people that are truly musical geniuses. You know what I mean? Like, a friend of mine is, without a doubt, the best piano player I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. This guy could play blindfolded. He could play Beethoven's Symphony. He's a successful lawyer in Indianapolis. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, dude, if people just heard this guy, you know what I mean? And I say it to him every time. And he's like, I just don't have it in me to do all that.
Right.
And I get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's it's.
How's that been for you kind of over the past, I guess, decade, seeing what you have to do, right?
Well, let's start with the whole social media concept. I
Yeah.
mean, I have to say, for me personally, it sucks the life out of music.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's one of the, and people will say, "Hey, you're a dinosaur." Maybe you can't
Fuck them. Who
you
says
can't
that?
you can't adapt, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me one bit. I have to say, being your own cheerleader on social media and constantly having to create potentially content that you don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
is one of the most deflating fucking things for me.
Facts.
And I'll just say it how it is. I don't envy anybody who's got clout on social media who are producing these, funny reels, and I get it. And I've done it. It's actually fun. I had this little fucking reel with the little iron and blowing the steam.
I saw that. That was funny.
Yeah,
But you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed making it. I didn't do it to get views or likes.
Right.
I thought, hey, this is something fucking funny because the whole thinking of fucking Johnny at Spy Bar fucking blasting people with the little.
Yes.
So that's what kind of inspired me, and like I had fun doing it, and maybe those kids have fun doing it, but hey. At the end of the day, you gotta focus, I guess, on one thing, and it's really hard when you're segmenting all of these things, and it's just it takes a lot out of you,
Yep.
Especially when you have to do it just because you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I respect people like Christian Beat Hurt a lot, who is probably the most incredible studio producer of all time. I mean, this guy, first of all, probably my number one inspiration, and. He doesn't give a shit about DJing. He doesn't give a shit about touring. He doesn't give a shit about creating content. The content that he creates is the music itself, and that's
It's
why
his product.
Yes, and that's why it's so amazing. There's
Yeah.
nobody who could rival his skill level, and that's why he's got 8,000 published tracks in something like the last 10 years.
Jesus.
So. It's I mean, you got to pick your battles, and at the end of the day, I think social media is it's kind of sucking the life out of music for me. So I still fuck with it, I still do it. I'm still on social
It's a
media.
necessary evil.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but I don't like it. I think that if more artists would actually focus on the creation of the music itself versus having to spin their wheels and create content for their fans, content meaning not music, but them jumping around and doing some silly fucking memes, I think would be in a better spot.
I like that. Appreciate you giving a different side of the coin there too, because a lot of people maybe say what they're supposed to say or do what they think they're supposed to do, right? Or do what people who don't produce music say to do,
Right.
right? I totally agree with you, and I kind of thought about my brand in that way. I was like, what do I actually like doing, and what would I really not care about if people didn't watch it? Did I enjoy doing that? Like these sub pack reviews, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I love doing those.
Sub pack.
That is genuinely fun. We could probably do a whole episode on sub pack, but like that type of stuff is so fun for me. When I put together these live sets, I think about it like especially over the past year. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing that shit for anybody else but me.
Yeah.
And the second I started thinking about that, exactly. Like so, whatever you enjoy doing, people ask me all the time, like upcoming artists, what should I do? How do I grow? And I'm like, what are you good at and what do you like doing? Do that. Just
Exactly.
do that until you feel like it's good enough to put it out there.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. If you really love food and you want to build a brand off that, well, what kind of food do you like? Start fucking showing us the restaurants that you go to. We don't have to reinvent the fucking wheel here, people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you kind of unlocked a side of my brain there too.
You got to do what you love. It's like kind of in parallel. It's what Jim Carrey said.
Yeah.
It's like I wish everybody would get rich and famous so they could see that this is not the answer.
Yes.
And because people are doing things that they think will bring them happiness.
Yeah.
While they're cheating themselves out of the actual happiness by doing things they don't even give a shit about doing.
Yep. Life can be short if you live it like that, and life can be long if you live it with enjoyment in what you do every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the social media is sucking out a lot of the life out of people. But hey, if you're really enjoying it, I love you.
Hey, what's up? And thanks for watching that video. You looking for more content now? I got your back. Go to my YouTube channel right now, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you never miss any upcoming exclusive artist interviews, Sherm in the Booth clips, new music, live sets, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything electronic music. Cheers.